Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show podcast, coming from right here in our quaint little studio. I'm, of course, your host, John Campea. I'm joined in studio today by Robert Meyer Burnett.
Very excited to be here again.
Jonathan Voico's here.
Good morning, everybody.
Chris Carr is here.
Hey, y'all.
But most importantly, of course, you guys are here. Thank you so much for being here, making our little show part of your day. And here's how our show's going to go. We're going to start off by talking about a number of topics we got lined up for you guys. Then in the second part of the show, that's when we take your live comments and questions. If you have a thought, theory, opinion, question, or topic you'd like us to address, go ahead and fire it on into our tip link at www.streamelements.com/JohnCampea/tip. Send it on in during the show, and as long as we deem it appropriate to be addressed on our show, please no big spoilery questions or topics about Daredevil, then we'll go ahead and answer that in the second part of the show. But here's the good news about the tip link. It's actually good 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you happen to be listening to our show on podcast feeds later on, like say maybe on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcasting app of choice, or if you're watching this show a little bit later in the day, you can still send in a question. And if you send one in when we're not live, we'll just get around to answering it on the next episode. All right, guys, with that down, let's get things started with this, shall we? Last night, The Accountant 2, Ben Affleck, John Bernthal, had a special advanced tax day screening of the film, which I thought was very clever marketing. Tax day for The Accountant, get it. To my surprise, the theater I went to last night to watch it was completely packed. Like because when I bought my tickets, there's like 6 other seats sold, but I guess the word got out about it. Totally sold out, which is really good to see. The first film only made like $140 to $150 million at the box office. Not all that great, but whatever. You guys know I really like the first Accountant movie, and I've been super excited about The Accountant 2. I've been wanting for them to do a sequel to this for years. So I went to go see it, and some of you may have seen my out of the theater reaction that I put up last night. Guys, I loved it. I loved this movie. I had such a good time. Now, let me just recap a couple things I said in the out of theater reaction. The big weakness of the film, and it is a big weakness, I'm not going to try to gloss it over, is actually the script. The story is iffy at best. It kind of was a neat idea for a story. Basically, the film is set up in the first few minutes that J.K. Simmons is trying to find this family. We don't know why he's trying to find this family. And all he's got is this like 10-year-old picture of the mom and dad and a little boy. And he's looking for somebody with acquired, what's the word it was? Acquired savant syndrome, right? Which you find out later on in the movie what that is. I guess it's a real thing. Anyway. And he meets with this person. And then as you see in one of the trailers, killers come in and kill J.K. Simmons. That's in the trailer. But before they kill him, he writes on his arm, hidden under his sleeve, "Find the accountant." Dun, dun, dun. Now, of course, it's been 8 or 9 years since the first one. But here's the thing. That story, that's the basic thing that sets up the motion of the story. It gets kind of convoluted. Ben Affleck and John Bernthal do things in service of the narrative. They're like, why are they doing that? And how did A exactly lead to B here? And by the end of it, we never even know why J.K. Simmons was looking for this family. Like, all we know is that he was, and that starts the accountant and his brother on their mission, but we don't even find out by the end why he was looking for them. It's just examples like that felt a little bit So, John, you're saying the story's kind of weak, but you loved the movie. Oh, yes, I did. Oh, yes, I did. Because this is one of those movies where every moment, well, I was going to say every moment that Ben Affleck and John Bernthal are on screen together is gold, but I'll go one step further. Every moment that Ben Affleck is on screen in this movie is gold. His character, Chris, is amazing. And I could watch him all the time. And one of the things I said coming out of the theater, I said, if Amazon, because this was an Amazon MGM movie, so good job, Amazon. I said, if you turn this into a accountant series on Amazon, I'll watch it. I mean, I'll watch the hell out of it. Dang. And all it has to be is Chris and his brother out having burgers and just talking to each other. And I'll eat up every single second. And I was telling Rob when we came in to see you today, you guys saw in the one little trailer that there's a scene in the movie where Ben Affleck's character goes to a speed dating event. Gold. It's the beginning of the movie. And the whole long sequence is absolute gold. The theater I was in were laughing their guts out. The action in it is top notch. I actually could have used a little more action in it because the action was just so good. Like both the hand-to-hand combat action and the gun fu and all that kind of stuff was great. Bernthal, listen, I love Bernthal's Punisher series on Netflix. I love him in a lot of things. I've never loved John Bernthal in a movie more than I did last night in The Accountant 2.
Wow.
He is so great in it. And like him and his brother, and like you think this is an odd couple. There's no way these two, even though they're related, that they even get along. But they make you believe that they get along, and they make you believe in the dynamic of their relationship. It's just so great. And I was also saying when I came in, it's also got the best scene in a pizza shop I've ever seen in my life. I'm just telling you guys, weak story. Yep, weak story. Not going to get any argument out of me. But this is a fun, entertaining movie. You know, sometimes I say about a show, when there's a show I really love, sometimes I don't even care what it's about if I love just hanging out with those characters. Like there were some weaker seasons of Supernatural, no doubt, but I still loved watching it even in those seasons because I just loved hanging out for an hour with the Winchester boys. You know, I just loved hanging out with them. And I just found myself loving hanging out with these brothers. It's so fun. It's great. Again, I wish the story was a little bit tighter, but I cannot highly recommend enough going to see The Accountant. I had a blast.
Yeah, I looked it up, and it is a real thing. It's acquired from sudden head injuries, and then it's a phenomenon where individuals suddenly develop exceptional skills or abilities, particularly in the area of art, music, math, calculation, and whatever, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes
So
comes
it's
from the
not
spectrum, too.
the same thing as Ben Affleck's character, but JK's looking for a character that has that. So basically, after having a traumatic head injury, instead of it taking something away from the person, it gives them
Right.
an almost supernatural gift, right? And that's kind of the cornerstone of the movie. But listen, I'll just tell you, right? The beginning of the movie to the end of the movie, I just had a really good time. I will say, too, maybe on the negative side, there are moments where it has pacing issues. There are a few moments that it has pacing issues. And you know what? I wouldn't have felt those pacing issues if the story itself was stronger. Like when they get from like an action sequence or just a great conversation sequence with the brothers, and they're getting into narrative sequences, I think it probably felt like it had pacing issues in those parts because the narrative wasn't all that great. But again, overall, I just had a blast. Guys, question is for you. Were you one of the people that got to go see that Accountant Tax Day screening last night? They did them all over the country. Have you been looking forward to it? A lot of people ask me, do I need to see the first Accountant to watch this one? After seeing this one, no. You don't have to see the first Accountant to see this one. I would highly recommend the first Accountant, but you don't have to see it to go see this one. Anyway, guys, whatever your guys' thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to this, shall we? Well, it's over. Daredevil Born Again is over. It was literally about, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong in the live chat, but I think it was literally like 5 years ago that I was at D23 in Anaheim when Kevin Feige came out on stage and announced that they were doing Daredevil Born Again. Daredevil was coming back. I think it was the exact same day they announced Moon Knight. And we ended up getting Moon Knight years ago. So it's been a long journey and a long wait to get the new Daredevil. But of course it debuted and now it's done. Last night was the finale. Now, overall, I think this show has been really successful. I think they did a great job on the show. By the way, guys, obviously I did not do a after show for Daredevil last night because I was off seeing The Accountant 2. We will be doing our Daredevil Born Again season finale after show tonight. So guys, and that'll be full open spoiler discussion. Feel free to come back and join me for that later. But tonight we're going to talk a little bit in generalities about the finale. Was it a hit or was it a miss? I'm going to say something that might surprise you. I was lukewarm on the finale. And the reason I was lukewarm on the finale was this. On the one hand, had some terrific action sequences. I mean, we saw the stills. We knew that John Bernthal and Punisher was going to be a part of the finale. And sure enough, he was. There were some excellent action sequences, like some really, really good stuff. A couple of pretty good, oh my God moments were in there too. But here's the thing that kind of took a lot of the wind out of my sails on the other hand, which was nothing really got resolved in the season finale. And when the finale was done, I was left with this sense of, so the whole purpose of this season was nothing but to set up next season. That was the whole reason we did this season, was just to set up next season. And to me, that's a little frustrating when a show does that. You know, I referenced Supernatural a little while ago. Supernatural had a wonderful formula, which was basically this. Every season had its own story. And when they got to the season finale, they would wrap up that story while also opening up the door for what the next season was going to be. It killed two birds with one stone. And I think a bit of my lackluster reaction, I guess, to last night's episode. Again, I didn't dislike it. There was a lot of really, really good things in it. I just felt like it didn't kind of nail the landing I was hoping, because the finale should give you a sense of what the season was for. And I didn't get any sense of what this season of Daredevil was for, other than just to set up next season. And that left me a little bit frustrated. Still, for me, overall, terrific season of television. I think they got very, very close to the Netflix Daredevil. I thought they did a great job. I enjoyed, there wasn't a single episode I didn't enjoy. Some I liked more than others, but overall, I thought they did a great job. I just wish they gave this season its own sense of identity and gave it kind of a purpose. But that was kind of my take on it. Anyway, Chris, you had a chance to see the Daredevil Born Again finale last night. Mm-hmm. How did you feel with the finale, and how did you feel about the season as a whole now that it's all done and in our rearview mirror?
You know, I'm a little like you in that I wish some more things happened in this one to move things along and have something wrapped up for me. Just I wanted some kind of closure somewhere. But I mean, we talked about going into this. It makes me want to watch a second season. I'm kind of in. I'm good. Especially because there is a reference in this episode that is 7 years in the making that explains why Wilson's not been in prison, what's all been going on. It's a great name drop moment. It's a kind of blink if you'll miss it that I think really pays off beautifully. I think that they set up some really great stuff for the second season. Old friends, new friends. I'm trying to figure out how I can talk about this without spoiling things for people. Having a real rough time. One of the most disgusting practical effects I've ever seen in my life, or visual effects, happens in this episode that I both loved and hated.
In Matt's apartment?
No, not in Matt's apartment.
Okay. I'm trying to think of which.
How do you not know what I'm talking about?
Send ice
Is
signals.
it when Frank goes to that place?
It's when Fisk goes to that place.
Oh, yes. I
was like, let me communicate with my mind.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Is this melon ripe? Yes.
It was so violent and bananas, and the fact that they achieved that in such a realistic way was so jarring.
And they used bananas, oddly enough.
Yes,
And you could say there was eye violence.
There, you could, and there was a lot of good old Chrissy Carr watching like this. It's a really great season of television, though. They should be really proud of what they've done.
I agree.
Are there a few little like missteps along the way? Yes. Some of the CGI is weird. We don't need CGI parkour Daredevil. Sometimes there's certain moments that look very almost soap opera lighting, but that's just
the Devin live
nitpicking.
chat is saying, by the way, a quick note, that was a practical effect.
Yeah.
Well,
For
that's
those of you who saw the show, you know what it
really,
means.
really well done. You know, it's a good season. It's a good episode. I do just wish that I had something concrete happen in this season that made me go, oh, this answers this question that was set up here a little bit more. I was left wanting, but maybe that's what you want to do with a season finale.
I will say this. There's a moment in the show, and I won't say where, but you know what frustrates me in TV? When they make the bad guys like inexplicably dumb. Inexplicably dumb. Do you remember that scene in Spaceballs
Yes.
where every scene of Spaceballs,
Literally, yes.
but when Dark Helmet and Lone Star are having their fight and they have that little break, and Dark Helmet's like, you know what? Let's fight fair. Put her there. And he goes in to shake his hand. There's a moment like that in the episode last night that is just like, no bad guy would be that stupid.
can't believe you fell for
Oh my God, man. I can't believe you fell for it. The spirit of Rick Moranis. There's just a moment in the show I'm like, no human being would be that stupid. Like, none of them would. It was like from a Bugs Bunny cartoon. Anyway, again, there's still a lot of stuff in it. Rob, to you saw the finale. So 2 questions is, number 1, what do you think about the episode as a finale? But then number 2, now that we've got the whole season in the books, how did you feel about the season overall?
Okay, I liked this episode. Like you guys, I felt that a lot of it was left unresolved, that I thought we would have more resolution, but it made me think about something. And I'd have to go back and look at this. But from what I understood, when they were originally making this new Daredevil show, it was supposed to be 18 episodes. That's what it was.
The original iteration of it.
Originally.
Yeah.
So then they shot this show. And then they decided, because it was Matt Murdock and Kingpin and barely any Daredevil, they decided to retool whatever it was that they were going to retool. So this ending did not seem to me to be a season finale. It seemed like it was midway through the season. And that's kind of how because I'm like you were saying, the whole show is setting up the idea of mass vigilantes was talked about in the first episode. There's these mask and what's his face that died, Timberwolf. What's his name? White Tiger.
Timberwolf.
So White Tiger, I know, it's a Legion of Superheroes.
The Ricky Tiki Tacky
It's Legion of Superheroes. But so they talked about vigilantes, mass vigilantes, and now there's going to be an anti-vigilante squad and all that. It seems like what we're seeing and what we saw last night was to me a midway point through the season. And they've tried to make it seem like, as they've retooled it, they were always going to make 18 episodes. And I think with the retooling, they're like, no, we're going to split it into 2 seasons. And that's what it felt like to me. I mean, I really, last night's episode was great. I mean, I really enjoyed it.
They did a lot of really good things.
There's a lot of cool shit in it.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. Like, there's the violence was amazing. Seeing Punisher, punishing.
Yep.
There was some great.
He's in the thumbnail. I think we can say that.
It was great. It was all good. But it felt to me like, and I felt this way the whole time. I'm like, this is an 18 episode show. This is not a first season. It's one long show, and they've had to split it into 2 seasons, and that's why they're already in production on season 2. I think they just decided to release it now instead of making it one long thing, because it seems, why would you do that? Now break it into 2 9-episode seasons, and then we don't have to finish it all up. And that's how it felt to me, because everything that happened and everything they set up is still part of the same story. They have not resolved anything since the first episode of the show. It's the ongoing unfolding, and it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I like that.
Well, how did you feel about the season overall?
It's great. I mean, what is apparent to me is how they've built this has been meticulous and interesting to me. And I thought, like you said, it's a great season of TV. And I feel that they've really laid it out well. And that's why I'm even more excited for I'm going to call it the back half, the back 9.
Here we go.
Because I think where they left it, I thought it was a pretty explosive ending, but there was no real resolution almost to anything. Some things, but almost nothing.
Yeah, I think
I mean,
like it
there
more.
was some resolution to some people.
Yeah.
But there was no resolution to the overall story that has been unfolding.
There was a resolution to some people. I like, but I mean, and that, I find that frustrating, because like, you look at Star Wars, right? Like, look at the original trilogy, right? Star Wars, Empire, Return of the Jedi, greatest films ever of all time, period, end of sentence, forever and ever, hallelujah. So, but like, Star Wars has a definitive ending. There was a particular mission in that episode, destroy the Death Star.
Rescue
and
the
they do
princess,
it.
destroy the
The
Death Star.
overall story of Star Wars is not done, of course, and the Empire is not done, but still that was that. Then in Empire, they have what ultimately becomes the thing is rescue Han and Leia. Okay, Luke find Dagobah and rescue Han and Leia. And they bring that to resolution. Part success, part failure. Then with Return of the Jedi, you have its own set of thing. And I just kind of wish that when they retooled the series, and again, I'm only talking about the finale now.
Yeah.
Because overall, I think the season was great. I do kind of wish when they retooled it in such a way that, like Star Wars Episode 4, that it came to, like, some big thing came to a conclusion as they get ready to go into season 2 for the next stage of the battle. I kind of wish they did that. But again, several elements of it were just so fun. The Matt apartment scene was incredible. The Punisher scene was absolutely incredible. The face-to-face meeting between Fisk and somebody was amazing. I love every moment of Wilson and Vanessa this entire series. And there's a moment that happens in this episode, and I'll give the line of dialogue, but I won't give you context for those of you who haven't seen it yet. That is just amazing. It reemphasized that throughout all of the Daredevil stuff on Netflix and here, Wilson Fisk's main superpower is information. And that always comes into play, whether it's Baby Soprano talking to the city council, or when there finally he just has another moment. This is the second time he's had this moment with Vanessa. Vanessa, I know. That's it. That's all I had to say. And then I love, like, Vanessa's reaction. Just, like, of course you know. Like, of course you do.
Well, isn't my husband just a scamp?
Oh God! Like,
oh,
that
my
entire. I will say
goodness.
this: that entire finale is one big long Vanessa wet dream, because that's everything was exactly what Vanessa wanted, sort of thing. Like, in my interpretation of it, at any rate. But I mean, that was the key. That kind of showed the key that at the end of the day, that's his main thing. It also raises questions, though, because that couldn't happen. What ultimately is going on in New York, that couldn't happen. That just simply could not happen. And they're like, how are they going to deal with that going into Thunderbolts, where a bunch of Thunderbolts does take place in New York City?
Well, must just take place at a different time.
Maybe, or are they kind of... Remember there was some talk a year or two ago that they might actually take Disney Plus and kind of start segregating it a little bit from the theatrical.
I mean, what happened in New York's a big deal.
Yeah.
Like, it's a big deal. And you're like, okay, well, I wonder if they're going to make, I don't think Thunderbolts takes place concurrently with this season of Daredevil.
Thunderbolts, I think, gets away with it because they're essentially government operatives, from what we can understand. I mean, the Avengers are government sanctioned operatives, and then it's like, well, we made one giant Sentry Avenger. Oops, that messed up. Here's more operatives. So I think they get away with that because they're not considered vigilantes.
You know, there's a lot of boroughs in New York. Maybe they just go to a different one.
Yeah. It's just a big place.
know.
New York's a big place. But again, overall, I thought the finale, I'll be straight out, I thought overall, I didn't like the way the season resolved. But
Yeah, because there isn't a resolution.
Yeah,
There's just not a resolution. They're in the middle of a story.
Yeah, and again, to me, by the time it was done, it just felt like, so this whole season was just about setting up next season. Still, the season was an incredible watch. Like, I've enjoyed this 6-week long, well, it hasn't been, it's been 7 weeks, the 7-week long journey of watching these 9 episodes. I just thought it was an excellent swing at the plate. I think they did a really good job. I think they did the name Daredevil proud. I think they did the legacy of the Netflix series proud. Again, I wish they structured it a little bit differently, but overall, it's a win. Guys, question is for you. What did you think about the finale of Daredevil Born Again, but also as the season as a whole? I thought it was a big win for them. Especially, and Netflix really needed it. Not Netflix, Disney Plus really needed it, because let's face it, their Marvel stuff on Disney Plus is hit and miss. And I thought this one was a big hit. Whatever you guys thought, jump down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we're going to move on to this. I got on our community posts page on the YouTube channel, and I asked our viewers a little bit earlier this morning that we were going to do a bit of a what's more likely today. And I asked if any of you guys had any what's more likely scenarios. I can only keep these things open for about 5 minutes because so many of you guys respond, which is awesome. Thank you for that. We picked out, I think, seven what's more likely scenarios that our viewers sent in. So, Jonathan, let's get things going. What's first?
All right. First up from Chris Cross King. He'll make you jump. So, you know what? Based on that name, Chris, what's more likely to happen first? Stileski directs Blade or for Marvel or Highlander reboot?
Ooh.
Oh, the Highlander reboot. I think. Is Blade gonna get made, and are people gonna wait around? I don't know. I just feel like that movie's my new Flash. One day it'll happen, maybe. Is it a real movie? Who's to say?
Yeah, because that one ended up taking like 7 years to
Yeah.
make, right?
Yeah.
Funny thing. I mean, it's kind of sad. I still remember they announced the Flash when I was doing the Arrow after show, and I remember I had Stephen Amell on set with me, and we were talking about, hey, they just announced a Flash movie and blah blah blah, and then it was literally 7 years later, long after I had left the network and all that kind of stuff. I'm going to say it is more likely that he's going to do the Highlander thing. There's a couple things to keep in mind. Number one, he is officially attached to Highlander.
Yep.
Henry Cavill has already said he's officially started training for it. That's all official.
Thank God, because he was really just letting himself go.
Oh, I know.
you
He was like, listen, I've been looking at pictures of Henry and thinking, man, that guy loves
Get off
cake.
your computer, Henry. Come on.
And he's a new dad.
Dude, I'll tell
That's
you,
true. Yeah.
this guy's becoming a
He's
freaking-
always been a dad, Rob.
Did you
becoming a
see? He's
steakhouse-
always been a dad.
He's somebody's daddy.
Listen.
Did you
Yeah.
even made that video where he's building the baby
Oh, yeah.
crib?
Oh,
Stuff
yeah.
like that.
Well,
dude,
he already made women's overs exploded when he built his own gaming computer.
that game
computer,
computer,
Yeah,
yeah.
They're
and
like-
now what I'm
That's
surprised half the women in the United States didn't die when they saw him building.
And guys
a
can't
crib.
hate him
did.
because now he's becoming a premier steak chef. Have you seen that stuff where he like makes his own?
Oh
like,
yeah,
eight-
makes his own stuff.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, like there have only been rumors and reports that maybe they're talking to Chad Stileski about doing the Blade movie, which I think he would be a great pick to direct that film, but that's not even official yet. So I think he may end up doing both, but I think it is more likely that we get that Highlander reboot first. Rob, what about you?
Absolutely the Highlander reboot first. I still don't think Disney knows what to do. Making a Blade movie, I mean, as much as I want to see Blade and Mahershala Ali as Blade, I keep thinking about the first Blade, the opening scene in the vampire
Blood rave?
rave, the blood rave.
Yeah.
I love that scene so much.
It's good.
And I love when Blade, I mean, I know the CGI. I don't care. I love that scene. I love they're playing the New Order remix. I love everything about that scene. There's no way they'd put something like that in a Disney movie.
I don't know, dude. Maybe I would have agreed with that a year and a half ago.
Well, then with Daredevil.
I simply don't know that
After
with
Melon
Daredevil
Gate.
and Deadpool and yeah, I don't know that that's true.
Maybe.
Melangate.
I think they have a real problem with the supernatural in general. I mean, they did it kind of with Agatha, and they had Werewolf by Night. But if you introduce vampires on Earth, where have they been the whole time?
You know what?
And
None of
why-
your
It's the
business.
same question with mutants.
I know, but why haven't wouldn't vampires be deviants because they're the undead? And if they're the deviants, wouldn't the Eternals have to go after them? I mean, like in the comics, I love the Eternals, X-Men, Avengers. During the Krakoan era when the X-Men could resurrect, Druig said the X-Men now have a power they're not supposed to have. They've now become too deviant to live on Earth. So we have to go kill all the X-Men. And the Avengers like, and it was really interesting. I mean, so I don't know how do you say that all the supernatural world has existed this whole time, but we haven't seen it? With the X-Men, they're going to do
They
something
live in
along.
the shadows, Rob.
I guess.
We haven't
live
seen
in
him
the
because
shadows.
spooky.
I know, and then
Because
Moon Knight. I guess when there's Egyptian gods sucking people's souls off the streets of Cairo, no one seems to care.
Yeah.
But
Well-
but at the same time, it's a valid question because we've had that discussion before.
Yeah.
But could you not say that about every vampire movie? Because it seems like in every vampire movie, somebody is shocked to find out that vampires exist.
But there's only like
So
one.
how did the whole world not know already in that movie or that movie or that movie? So I guess they could play the same card.
I guess so. But I mean, it just seems that if Thanos snapped his fingers, would half the vampires on Earth have gone away? Or
if they were undead.
well, that's the thing. I mean, I would that would be the first question I would ask in the MCU. What happened to the vampires? Because it assumes it's not just one. The Daywalker is half a vampire. So and Dracula there was a Dracula X-Men
Yeah.
comic. So where's Dracula? Where
All right.
are these vampires?
We are getting sidetracked into a full Blade
You're right,
vampire
I'm sorry.
discussion.
I'm sorry.
I love these.
But the thing is, I
we will,
pondered these
we will
questions.
continue to have this discussion for sure moving forward.
All right. Well,
All right,
moving
what's the next
rapidly,
one?
question number 2. John, Aweb asks, what's more likely, the Batman 2 gets canceled or it gets folded into DCU?
I will say it is more likely that the Batman 2 gets canceled. That's more likely. I simply don't. And listen, I can be wrong. I can be totally wrong about this. I haven't had James Gunn call me on the phone and tell me this. This is just my own, kind of putting pieces together. I don't think there is any chance that James Gunn folds the Pattinson Batman into the DCEU. The Pattinson Batman and the tone of it and what it represented and was simply doesn't have a place in the DCU, I don't think. So I think that is simply not possible. I don't think it's likely that the Batman 2 gets canceled. I just think it's more likely that gets canceled. Man, I'm struggling with what I can say and what I can't.
Well, what did James Gunn tell you?
See, I got told something this week that they even said I could say it.
Well,
But-
haven't they cast the Batman already? Isn't it what's his face?
Who?
The guy who's he's in 1923.
No, there was just some rumors there were rumors going around. I don't think that's
Yeah, he said
I
he
thought-
would like to. It wasn't like a...
okay.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought-
yeah. There was things that he said he would. We did a thing on that.
He's a
He said he
Batman
would love to
fanboy.
do it. I don't think, unless I missed a huge announcement, but no, I think
maybe
he
not.
would like to do
23
it.
bowl.
'Cause I just thought that they were showing pictures of him with Corn Sweat, and I was like, those guys for a Brave and the Bold movie or whatever, or that'd be cool. They look good together.
Yeah. So I'm sure. So again, I was told I could say it, but I feel like
Do it. Say it. Say it, John.
Pass the note to me and I'll say it. Then you got no heat on you.
Yeah.
you know.
You can't say you could say it and then not say it.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you off camera. I'll tell you guys.
I'll
off
say
camera.
it later then.
No, but then you will not say it later.
You
I
tell me,
will-
I'll forget.
I will tell you off camera. But let's just say I think it is more likely that the Batman 2 gets canceled. So anyway, Chris, what's more likely?
I don't think either of these things would happen, but the movie getting canceled. Because, yeah, it's an Elseworlds film, ultimately.
Yeah.
So why would it be wrapped into the DCU that we're establishing right now? It is decidedly other than what the universe is going to be. But I don't think it's going to get canceled.
Rob?
I think it's more likely the film gets canceled. It just doesn't look at all like the world that James Gunn is building. But, I mean, I could be wrong. It is Gotham after all. And, it seemed like, look,
Gotham.
in the world of James Gunn's DCEU, they talk about there's superheroes everywhere.
Yeah.
There's aliens, there's superheroes. Everyone knows this. There's super science.
And they've been around for a while.
And they've been around for a while. There's no indication of that in the Batman. Unless they want to come along and say
And by the
it.
way, just in case there's any misunderstanding here, I love Matt Reeves as the Batman.
I did too.
I love that movie. I just don't think it fits in what James Gunn's going to do.
I don't
That's
think
all.
so either. But I think more likely than not, the Batman 2 would get canceled.
All right. What's next?
Okay, this one's for Rob. Emery talks. What's more likely, Sinners getting a Best Picture nomination or Wicked?
Ooh, that's a good one. You know
What
what?
do you mean Wicked 2, right?
Wicked,
Yeah,
yeah.
Wicked
so
are good.
good.
I am going to say that Sinners could very possibly get a Best Picture nomination. For everything I've heard about it, and I know it deals with vampires, but with what I've read and listening to Ryan Coogler speak, I think there's a distinct possibility that it could definitely get a Best Picture nomination. But I haven't seen it, so but since this is all hypothetical,
Yeah. Now, I could be wrong about this, but I think as of right now, yeah. So there's now 88 reviews, and still only the one negative one. So we outed them the other day. I'm going to do it
wait,
again.
who wrote a negative review about Sinners?
Let me
It
tell
was, and it's fair if you saw the movie and you didn't like it, you got to
made it
give
a
an honest
98,
review and
John.
say you
It's
didn't like it.
unacceptable.
So I don't mind that they did. I'm trying to. Oh, don't put up my screen because I'm searching here.
Oh,
It was Eskimo new something.
Yeah, it was like Eskimo something like that. I can't remember exactly. I wish there should be a way that
so
I should be able
it's far
to
away
select.
from the antebellum.
Oh, you passed it. It was.
Oh, did I pass
I
it?
saw a
Let
little
me see.
green splat
There it is. Okay, there he is.
Eskimo TV.
Yeah, now you can bring it up. So, Jason Escamilla from Eskimo TV wrote, Sinners ends with a powerful, surreal bang, but its slow build-up left me restless. A unique vision from Coogler, but whether the destination is worth the wait depends on your patience. I think that sounds like a perfectly rational, fair thing. If that
sounds
struck
like
the guy,
Gen Z guy, TikTok. my brain is
come
addled.
on, let's not just attack the guy because he didn't like something that we don't even know if we're gonna like. We haven't seen it yet.
I'm gonna attack him anyway.
What's weird is
We're gonna attack him anyway.
the weird thing is, it didn't even sound all that negative. It was just kind of
No.
a slow build up to an excellent finish. I hated it.
Yeah.
It's just like
Yeah, it sounds, and so he leaned negative. Okay, fine. But here's the thing. Out of nearly 100 reviews, it's literally got a 99%. And the one negative one is actually saying, it's actually not that bad. Like, he's saying some things that are really great about it. And all the other people who are saying they like it are saying it's just amazing.
Yeah.
And whereas you're going to have Wicked, which is going to be a sequel. By the way, I surprisingly liked Wicked. Like, I was shocked how much I enjoyed Wicked. And I think it has a chance, especially now that we live in an era where the Oscars give out 10 nominations. I think there's a very strong chance Wicked gets it. But if you had to ask me, only one of them would, which one is more likely to get it? I think it's actually more likely that's going to be Sinners from everything that we're reading. It just seems like everybody is losing their minds over this movie. So I'll find out tomorrow. I'm seeing it tomorrow. So, Chris, what's more likely? Sinners getting a Best Picture nom or Wicked getting a Best Picture nom?
From everything everyone has said, except for that one gentleman, Sinners. Sinners, absolutely. Because also, this is just, I know Wicked, the first film we all really enjoyed. The second half of this musical is not particularly strong.
That's what I've heard. That's the other thing. That I've heard the second half is
and
not
they've
that
talked
great.
about they're adding new original music to it and everything to kind of beef up that second half. But I just still think from what everyone has said, and also if you haven't watched that 10-minute video of Ryan Coogler explaining how they shot this film too,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
What a
Rob
goat.
sent it to me.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
so good. It's so good. I feel like this is an absolute contender for Best Picture, potentially Best Director, Screenplay, all those things. This just sounds so interesting, and I cannot wait to see this at a 9 a.m. showing so no vampires can get me.
I can't.
Are you seeing it like tomorrow at night?
Oh, I'm planning on going this week
You're
and
gonna
just
go this-
trying to go to the
Damn.
earliest thing I can see at Regal. So.
And it's screening in
day.
70 millimeter at the Vista. Then it's an IMAX at Universal. There's so many places to go. I can't wait. I think I'm gonna see it like 3 times this weekend.
Well, I'll see it tomorrow. So I'll know how good I think it is or is not tomorrow. All right. What's our next one?
All right, this one's going back to Chris. Pyronic Gaming. What's more likely, DeLuca and Abdi make it to 2026, or Kathleen Kennedy does?
Ooh, woof.
Oh, that's a really good one.
Damn.
Come on.
I mean, I feel like Kathleen Kennedy's still gonna be there. I feel like she still is because okay, with DeLuca and Abdi, we keep having, hey, they did this great. Wait, this is their fault. They did this great. This is their fault. We have this kind of back and forth that keeps happening, which is what should happen. You should be able to own your wins and your losses. Something that a lot of people have not always afforded Kathleen Kennedy, where it's Star Wars is bad because of her, and anytime Star Wars is good, it's because she wasn't involved, which is not true. But I feel like she's still going to stick around, especially since after we talked about the retirement thing, that really wasn't in the cards at this time. I feel like we've got another year or so of her in there. So maybe the dynamic duo who I really enjoy over at Warner Brothers are going to be the ones who go the way of the dodo.
I'm going to go the other way.
Okay.
I think it's more likely that DeLuca and Abdi are still there running Warner Brothers. And I think for a couple of reasons. One, they were still rolled out on stage at CinemaCon.
Yeah.
That's not a small thing. Like, I think if David Zaslav was like imminently getting ready to pull the trigger of firing them, I don't think he rolls them out on stage at CinemaCon. So there was that. Number two, they're about to have the first billion-dollar film of the year with Minecraft.
And Sinners
tomorrow,
is there. Yeah.
And tomorrow they've got Sinners opening.
They
which
got a
will be
99%
Yeah.
on the tomato meter.
which will be a back-to-back wins for them. Plus, they've got a couple of other really interesting-looking things coming out this year.
Yeah.
Whereas with Kathleen Kennedy, I think there's a 50-50, 40-60. I think there's a 40-60 chance Star Wars Celebration is kicking off. I think there's a 40-60 chance she announces she's stepping down at that. So, because that is the friendliest audience in the world is being at Star Wars Celebration. And I think she's going to want to have her. I can already see it. It's a wrestling thing, but I can see it happening. She'll announce her retiring. Then you're going to have an auditorium of 3,000 fans going, "Thank you, Kathy," and they'll give her.
And half of them will be Japanese, so they'll be very polite. They won't scream,
so
"Yay!"
The Japanese and Canadian audience will be very, very polite.
Golf claps.
And so again, I think there's a 40-60 chance it happens this week, but I would say it's more likely. And to Chris's points, it's possible they're both still there at the beginning of 2026, but I think it's more likely that DeLuca and Abdi will still be there in 2026. Rob, what about you?
I agree. And I think DeLuca and Abdi are playing the long game, whereas Kathleen Kennedy, she's got it. Why not go out with Andor? There's no more Star Wars coming out for a while. They've got the animated series, the Underworld series coming, but they got Andor with 12 episodes that are supposed to be great. She can, and there's no movie in the horizon.
Yeah.
What are they doing?
By the way, I'm seeing some people in the live chat who are totally misunderstanding this thing. They say, you're crazy, John. The Star Wars fans won't say thank you. Star Wars fans who go to Star Wars Celebration.
Yeah, these people love Star Wars.
You've clearly never been there. It's an extremely friendly crowd.
Yeah.
It's a very, the
online
crowd,
trolls. We're talking about.
It's not the online mom's basement dweller gutter chugs that are going. It's like when you go to these things, like especially Star Wars Celebration, I've been to several of them. I'm getting an odd look from people.
There are so many phrases that come up on the show that I'm like,
what does that mean?
What?
I've never heard that before.
Yeah.
Anyway, but when you're at Star Wars Celebration, it is a super, super friendly audience. It's that percentage of the audience that is super, super receptive and friendly. It's not a minor thing that it was at that Hayden Christensen made his return at a Star Wars Celebration and got incredibly embraced and loved. And I think that's the reception. That may not be the reception of Star Wars fans as a whole.
Yeah.
But if Kathleen Kennedy at Star Wars Celebration specifically announced her retirement there, that is the friendliest place to do it, and she will get a very warm reception.
I was just going to say, you got to be a special kind of jerk to pay money to go to Star Wars Celebration to boo the people who have made things happen. Do whatever you want with your money, but dang.
I wouldn't do it there. These are people who cry whenever they show a new Star Wars trailer. And so, yeah.
Do you know they have a hot toy of a cherry blossom stormtrooper that's an exclusive?
Tell us about it, Rob.
I'm not kidding. I wish somebody would help a brother out. Because I would really like one.
You should help a brother out. Why are you selfish?
Cherry
Give
blossom.
things to
I want
Rob.
a cherry blossom stormtrooper.
Yeah.
All right, what's
Sounds
next?
like a song from the 60s.
Or Duran Duran.
Yeah.
Cherry blossom.
We got John's. The Jack Drees asked, "What's more likely, Sony sells Spider-Man rights or Disney sells Lucasfilm?"
This is one of those ones where I think it is nigh impossible that either of the scenarios happen, but it is more likely of Sony selling the Spider-Man rights. I know there were rumors going around a little while ago. Oh, Disney's looking at selling. They are 100% absolutely not. That is 100% not true. It's not. You got to understand how deeply they have let the roots of Star Wars go into the overall forest of Disney, right? It's between the theme parks and everything else. It's a big part, for good or for bad. It's a big part of their entire Disney Plus appeal, again, for good or for bad. There's just no way. Now with Sony, it is almost equally as ridiculous because there's simply no reason that Sony would sell it. And look, as the great philosopher, the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase once said, everyone's got a price. Sure, absolutely. But my point for a long time, Rob, has been that the price tag that Sony would want for Spider-Man is not worth it to Marvel to pay. Spider-Man is actually more valuable to Sony than he would be to Marvel. He would be absolutely valuable to Marvel, but the price tag that Sony would set to be willing to part with those delicious rights would be more than what Marvel's willing to pay. And so I think it is more but still, I think it's an absolute 100% impossibility that Disney sells Lucasfilm, at least any time in the near future. So I would say despite all logic, it's more likely that Sony would sell Spider-Man. What do you think?
I totally agree with you for everything you said. I mean, Disney would not sell Lucasfilm ever. They own Star Wars. They're not going to get rid of Star Wars. They're not going to sell it. I mean, look, people don't understand. Like, I don't even know why Paramount's making Star Trek, but I'll tell you why they're making Star Trek. Because the more they make, the more valuable. We're the ones bitching and moaning about whether something's good or bad. But the more of something, it becomes an asset that they have. Star Wars is an asset that is valuable and has been for almost half a century. It'll continue to be valuable. They have Andor coming out. It's not going anywhere. And nor would it ever. It's in their theme parks. What are they going to do? Move the Millennium Falcon out of Disneyland?
Yeah.
No.
It's
Never
my
happened.
yard.
Throw it in the trash heap.
Which, like, Rise of the Resistance is the best ride I've ever been on in my life.
Yeah.
I cried at one point. I realized I wasn't breathing anymore.
Oh, you
Like,
should go
what?
to Star Wars Celebration. You're just the
I
crowd.
would have the best time. I would thank Kathleen Kennedy. Yeah, they're not going to sell Lucasfilm. They've invested too much. It's so toyetic. So even when they don't have movies or things coming out, there's still always Star Wars merch. There is Star Wars Land. There are Star Wars cookbooks. There's all this other stuff that Disney is constantly capitalizing. Not to mention just the rights of the films themselves, what they're getting from that. So they wouldn't sell this.
By the way, Angel Leon in the live chat asks a question, and it's logical in today's world, is could they sell Lucasfilm but keep Star Wars?
So like Indiana Jones and whatever.
Well, you know how like Fox
Yeah.
is still Fox, but
But
they
they
sold
lease-
off 20th Century,
Yeah,
everything
yeah.
that we know to be Fox. I mean, the answer to that question literally is yes. They could sell Lucasfilm and keep Star Wars.
Yeah.
They could do that, but that would raise the question, who wants Lucasfilm without Star Wars?
Dude,
Got to make them
Come on,
Howard the
Willow?
Duck movies.
They're gonna make Willow like a whole thing.
Yeah, we're going to revive Willow.
I don't know. I mean, I
Howard
don't
the
know if
Duck.
that's true. I don't know if that's true because,
The one valuable thing that goes along with Lucasfilm would be the Indiana Jones IP.
That's what I was saying.
But-
But other than that, like who would
But
want
I think Lucasfilm is inexorably tied to Star Wars. I don't think that they're the same, because Star Wars is a Lucasfilm limited production. So I think they're one and the same. Really.
Well, no, but it would be very easy for, as Disney is the owner of it,
they own it now.
to
so.
take a scalpel, section out Star Wars, and
I guess
say-
they could, but
yeah,
then
they could
why
do
would
that, and then-
anybody?
then the question is, why would anybody
Lucasfilm's
buy
just
it?
the name of a company. It's unless it has assets, which why would you buy it?
Willow, Howard the Duck, and Indiana
Red
Jones.
Tails, there's other
Indiana
things.
Jones.
Sure,
That's still an IP.
but why
that
would they
carries
want to get
value.
rid of those? You don't want to get rid of the Raiders movies.
Yeah, I don't think they would either.
Why would you want to do that? You've got an Indiana Jones ride at Disneyland too.
Yeah.
That's so fun.
Anyway,
Yeah. So
wait, did we all answer the question now on that one?
Chris, what do you think? Yes or no?
No, I answered already.
You did? Okay.
Yeah.
All
we've
right.
been talking about this for 10
Yeah.
minutes.
All right, what's next?
All
Glad what
right.
I said was so valuable and memorable.
Did you say anything? Jamie Martin says,
Wait, Chris is still here? What?
Guys, don't make me feel like that on the show. When I'm not gonna say the rest of that sentence.
Jamie Martin says, Rob, what's more likely, the Zelda or movie or Sonic 4 makes more money? So Zelda or Sonic 4, which makes more money?
Well, again, it's hard to say because the Sonic franchise already has a track record. I think there's a great potential that they mess up Zelda, but after seeing Mario, I mean, I'm gonna say this only because if they knock it, I'm gonna go Zelda's gonna make more money. Only because if they pull it off like Mario, it'll make $1 billion. I think it's got that same kind of built-in fan base. Sonic. It's the fourth movie, but I'm gonna go Zelda.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would agree
I'm going to 100% say Zelda. I mean, like you said, we have got the kind of blueprint out of what Sonic makes at the box office. Sonic 3 was the highest grossing one they did, and it still didn't make half $1 billion. As if it wasn't still a big hit.
For what it is,
For what it is, it's a huge hit. It's a
Yeah.
huge hit.
Yeah.
But it didn't make 500 million. I think the potential ceiling for a Zelda is the $1 billion mark.
Yes.
I'm not saying it will make $1 billion, but when that comes out, if they've already got a really good director, they're going to make this an event when this movie comes out. And so I don't see any reality in which, even if it's not good, I think it'll make enough money in the first couple of weeks before bad word of mouth gets out. And I think it's already crossing 600 million, right? So I think 100% it's more likely that Zelda makes more money. Anyway, Chris, what about you?
Well, the entire Legend of Zelda series sold over 150 million copies just last year. So then that alone, right? And how much people enjoy Zelda, I feel like that is the one. And I say this as somebody who loves the Sonic films, and we have had that upward trajectory. But Zelda, like Sonic, spans decades of fandom. People really enjoy it.
Generational.
You know, it is. And I think you have that same kind of viewing audience that you do have for a Sonic, that you do have for Mario, of families coming, people who bring their kids to see this movie, people like me who just love these games. Zelda, though, is so particularly beautiful. And the way that they're able to do their graphics and everything with the amount of space it actually takes up is astonishing. And so not only do you have to have a killer story for this, you absolutely do have to replicate all of those visuals as well, which we saw Mario do quite well. So as long as you've got good storytelling and you've got that really great kind of Breath of the Wild look and have that great scope and make this cinematic, I think it could be a really, really well done film. But like Rob said, it's also really easy to screw this up. You have a protagonist who's known for not speaking. I don't want it to be like the cartoon. I don't want to hear "excuse me, princess" in there. I will riot. I'll be like those little Minecraft people at a movie theater. I'm going to throw my popcorn.
But if Jim Carrey doesn't return for Sonic 4, no way.
Yeah, I don't.
And I kind of thought Sonic 3 was the weakest of the series. I still really enjoyed it. I liked it a lot. I enjoyed it. But I thought it was kind of the weakest of the series.
I feel like 2 is, but that's because of the B plot story. I did not care about the wedding that was happening. Every time we went to it, I was like, no, I don't care. I don't need this.
I really like the second one. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people watch that saying, no way, Sonic 100%. I'm pretty sure these are the same people who called me an idiot for 2 years when I said that Sonic 3 won't make $1 billion. And everyone's like, yes, well, you don't understand, John. You don't know how popular Sonic is. It's like, guys, we've already seen how much money Sonic makes at the box. It might make a little bit more, but it ain't a bit. So, yeah, Zelda will 100%. Again, anything can happen. We can see the trailers, and it could be, I mean, Adam Sandler could be cast as Link. Hey, what you doing? Like, I don't know.
I might not. I actually want to see it more.
Instead of him going, ah, it's going to be just hooty hoo.
Yeah.
It's going to be like Happy Gilmore Zelda. And then maybe makes no money. Who knows? But all the things being
Chris
equal.
Pratt in that movie. You stay away.
Jack Black could make a cameo, though.
If Jack Black is Ganondorf, I wouldn't care. I would love it. He'd be incredible. Chris Pratt, this is not for you.
Ooh.
Okay.
She looked right in the camera. That scared me.
Yeah, I know you watch.
All right, what's next?
All right, last but not least, we got E-Flow Capture. Chris, what's more likely? RDJ continues being the Doom of the MCU moving forward, or he's only in it for the next
You mean of MCU?
Of the MCU?
I think you said AMC.
Oh.
He's the Doom of AMC.
Oh, man.
Robert Downey Jr. is
Oh my
coming
God. I
for
would
AMC.
I would love if he started doing the Nicole Kidman ads as Victor Von Doom.
Oh my God, that'd be so good.
That
Can he? Can we get that going?
I would like that to happen, please. So most like that he'll be in there for 2 films or continue?
So continues being Doom in
Or
the
just
MCU?
for the 2 Avengers
Just for the
films.
2 Avengers
just the 2?
films. Ooh, that's a great question.
It is a great question.
Again, this is all based on us not seeing him in this role or doing any of these things and seeing what the trajectory of Doom is supposed to be. I would imagine that you would want a Victor Von Doom for more than 2 films, but it is the issue of the multiverse of, is it this one? So unless they are establishing him as a 616 Doom, and I don't think they are, I think he is only going to be these 2 films. But I could be very wrong. Because why would you bring RDJ back for just 2 movies?
No, I hear it's actually Adam Sandler who's going to be taking up the role. So.
And then Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I think it is far more likely that it's just for the 2 Avengers films. Because remember, like, these are not just 2 movies in the MCU. These are the Avengers films. These are the big tentpole event films.
But missing the Avengers.
Well, they'll be there. We just don't know who they are yet. But I mean, it's these big tentpole event films that is a huge arc for them. I mean, look, remember, you can say, well, Thanos was around for a long time. Thanos wasn't in shit. Thanos maybe had a grand total of 4 minutes of screen time in all of the MCU until we got to the Avengers films. Really, Thanos was in the Avengers films. That's really where he was. And Robert Downey Jr. he's not in a place where he's signing an 8-film deal anymore. I think he signed up to do those 2 films, and I think that'll be it. Now, again, like Chris said, Kevin Feige hasn't called me and told me that. We could be completely wrong about that. Sure, we're just guessing.
He'll tell us after the show's
He'll tell us. He'll give us a call. Tell us after the show.
Chris, why were you so hard on Chris Pratt? And also, let's talk about Doom.
But I think it's the 2 Avengers films. That's plenty for a big villain to be the big villain of 2 major, big, heavy hitter Avengers event films. And I think we might get more Doom after that some way through multiverse or whatever. But I think that'll be it for Robert Downey Jr. Rob, what's more likely? He's only in those 2 Avengers films, or he'll be Doom continuing after the Avengers films?
I think it's probably more likely that he's only in the 2 films, but it depends if he makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I could see him. I mean, it is a multiverse thing, and I'm sure they will end it in a big, grand fashion and probably reboot the whole universe after Secret Wars. So it probably is true that he's only going to be in these 2 movies. So I'm going to go, since the question is that, I'm going to say yes. It's more likely that he's only in these 2 films. But I would not shut that door.
All right. Well, it'd be a very expensive door.
It's a very expensive door.
Robert Downey Jr. is not charging a pittance.
Especially,
to these things.
I think Doomsday has the potential, depending on what it could be, it could gross Endgame numbers if it's great.
I think it can gross Infinity War numbers.
I think it's going to make more than that.
I think Secret Wars can get Endgame numbers.
They have to be good, though.
Yeah. And the reality is the MCU is in a different place health-wise than when Infinity War came out. But I still think Doomsday can do Infinity War numbers. And then I think Secret Wars can do Endgame numbers.
Better be good.
But we'll see.
Don't let the world down.
They'll both do better than Dr. Doolittle. So we're in a good place.
Man.
Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think is more likely, not just about the Robert Downey Jr. one, but about any of the scenarios? Hey, guys, thank you to all of you who sent in those what's more likely scenarios. We appreciate that very much. And if you want to get one in, just keep your guys' eyes open on our YouTube channel for when we drop those little posts in the morning. They only stay up for a few minutes because so many of you guys reply. But thank you to everybody who sent those in. All right, guys. With that all down, it's time for us to bid good day to Chris Carr and Robert Meyer Burnett. Thank you guys for everything once again. Awesome as always. And it's now time for us to move over and start taking your live comments and questions. So with that down, Jonathan, what do we got up first?
Suthius, with the introduction of adamantium in 616, the foreseeable introduction of a Wolverine, and knowing that Japan also has access to it, I think there's a chance we'll see the introduction of Silver Samurai. Feige's good with giving characters a second chance.
Oh, listen, whatever happened in the Fox universe is the Fox universe. That's irrelevant. I absolutely see there being a Silver Samurai. Now, the question is, do you go out and get Sonata? Do you get Hiroyuki Sanada, who I believe played Silver Samurai in the Fox universe? I mean, he would be great, but probably not. But yeah, I like with or without everything else that's going on, I think there's a very good chance that we see Silver Samurai in there. But especially with Japan also having access to the adamantium. All right, what's next?
Jake says, went and saw Hamilton last night for the first time. Man, what an incredible Broadway show it is. I'm glad I had never even watched the film version on Disney Plus beforehand. Now I'm going to see the Book of Mormon in a couple months.
Tell you what, Hamilton is one of those rare things in pop culture that 100% lives up to the hype. I remember when Anne took me to see it for the first. Anne had already seen it once, and then she got me to go see it with her, and it was at the Pantages here in Los Angeles, and I was floored. I mean, Les Mis is still my number one all-time favorite musical on stage, but Hamilton for me came damn close. It was, as somebody who's not even born American, like I'm Canadian, and even I'm like, damn, like even I was starting to feel patriotic watching it. It's absolutely insane. If you guys get the chance to see Hamilton live on stage with a good company, go see it. It 100% lives up to the hype. It's absolutely fantastic. All right, what's next?
Matan says, I can't imagine Disney seeing the success of video game adaptations and scrambling to get one of their own that isn't Kingdom Hearts. I would kill for FX doing Nier on the same production level as Shogun.
But I don't know. I've never played Kingdom Hearts. Okay, so that always shocks people when I say it. I don't even know really. But isn't it like Isn't that the thing of just a collection of all the video game characters?
I mean, there's
have either
there's
you
a
guys
story
ever played
to it, but I've
Kingdom
never
Hearts?
played it.
Yeah, it's like Final Fantasy, but it has a group of the Disney characters. They go on.
So it's a whole bunch of Disney characters.
Yeah,
that are-
it's like I think it might be turn based. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's an RPG. A lot of people seem to love it just because the story is really good, and plus everyone loves those Disney characters.
yeah,
and
I don't see
you
them
finally
making
see
that.
them team up, especially Donald and Mickey. You never see that.
They won't make that into a movie. I don't see them make. Yeah, my guess will be no. Maybe if I played the game, I'd think differently. But just from the sounds of it, I don't see why Disney would try to turn that into a movie. All right, what's next?
We got Motorsports Guy. If the F1 movie does well, do we think there's a better chance for a Days of Thunder 2? NASCAR viewership in North America is about double that of F1 week to week. So if that baked-in fan base plays a factor for F1, I like to think it's true for NASCAR.
But F1 is way bigger globally than NASCAR is. Like
Right.
if you look at the entire world, F1 is bigger than NASCAR. They've tried doing NASCAR stuff. I mean, honestly, the best NASCAR movie ever made was Talladega Nights, The Legend of Ricky Bobby. Quite frankly, that is the best NASCAR movie ever made.
So authentic.
So authentic, so real.
If you don't chew Big Red,
And by the way, I believe there was some talk recently about them looking at doing a Days of Thunder 2. And so like it's one of those things where maybe it could do okay in the North American box office, but again, it's just F1 is just so much bigger globally that there's a much higher upside for box office there. So I think the chances for a Days of Thunder 2 are not going to have its needle moved by either the success of F1 or the failure of F1. Like, I think if F1 crashes and bombs, I don't think that lessens the chances of a Days of Thunder either. I just think they're looked at as two different things. All right, what's next?
Pop Tart says the song from the first 5 minutes of Warfare is stuck in my head. It's an absolutely crushing film that definitely has a sound nomination in the bag at next year's Oscars. Have you all had a chance to see it?
Nope. I went to go see The Accountant last night. So I still haven't had a chance to go see Warfare. And then tomorrow I'm going to go see Sinners. So hopefully, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, I'll get a chance to go see it this weekend. Again, here's the thing. I don't review a movie unless I can see it opening day. If I can't see it opening day, or at the very, very latest, day 2, then I don't review it. And if I'm not reviewing a movie, then it drops on my priority list of what I need to get out and see, because I got to be able to see the things that I can't. And unfortunately, like Warfare came out when I was out of town. So, but I'm hearing nothing but amazing things about it. Nothing but amazing things about it. So I am very excited to see it. I'm just hoping this weekend sometime. Again, I couldn't obviously last night. I can't tonight, and I can't tomorrow. So hopefully this weekend sometime. All right, what's next?
We got Ron H with a two-parter. When the time of a Canadian federal debate is moved earlier so that it doesn't lose viewers to a hockey game, you know you live in a special province. I love Quebec. I love Quebec. Following up on a question regarding Hollywood North, I submitted yesterday, Hollywood is Hollywood because studios are there in California, but can studios move for economic reasons? Could a growth of new homegrown studios established in British Columbia create a true Canadian Hollywood like India has Bollywood?
No. Canada just doesn't have the population for that. I mean, Canada is the best at everything, but we also have to understand that we have scale, right? A scale issue. And so, no, I don't ever think that Canada becomes the next Hollywood. Again, it's super great. A lot of production goes up there. And a lot of production happens. A lot of your favorite TV shows and movies happen up there. And Canada has done an amazing job, especially over the last 10 years, building facilities and infrastructure to make it as easy as possible for American productions to go up there and shoot there. And listen, in the last couple of years, we've had a number of big things, like the greatest sitcom of all time may very well be Schitt's Creek. And it won all the Emmys. It set the record for all the Emmys. It literally was the only show in history to win in the same year Best Writer, Best Director, Best Lead Actor, Best Lead Actress, Best Supporting Actor, Best Supporting Actress, and Best Series, all in the same year. It's never happened before, and it probably will never happen again. And then you put out things like Kim's Convenience, and people love like Shoresy and its original stuff. That's all great, but I don't see Canada ever being like a viable alternative to Hollywood, having its own system there that's a rival to Hollywood. Nah, but they've built it in such a way that Hollywood just keeps sending money up there and keeps sending productions up there because we make it easy to do there. But I don't see it becoming the second Hollywood. No. All right, what's next?
We got the Batman has a two-parter with a grand total of $100.
Oh my God! Thank you, the Batman. So generous. Thank you, dude, very much.
So being someone who loved the Netflix Daredevil, now that Born Again is done, I actually thought this was a bad, underwhelming return. I was not sold on a lot of the characters or the story. Can only imagine what they made before they restarted the series. I feel like when I started this series up, I was missing 1 to 2 seasons of Daredevil that never got made. I get time has passed, but all these new characters were presented as if we should already know them, and the overall story was just a mixed bag to me.
I mean, listen, that's the great thing about art, right? It hits us all in different ways. And you're asking me, so I have to give you my experience with it. My experience with it was very different than yours. I thought it was very well done. I didn't like, for instance, Matt's new partner didn't need more on her to know exactly what her role in the season was. The former cop that works with them, you didn't need more background on him. They focused on the things that needed to be focused on. And again, I was underwhelmed with the finale, and I stand by that. But I still think overall, I think the series was wonderful. As good as the Netflix Daredevil, I wouldn't say that, but I think it is worthy of the name. I think it's worthy of the name. I thought they did a really good job with it. I love the parallel journeys that both Wilson and Matt found themselves on during the season as they both struggled against the violent nature, as Wilson would put it. I just thought it was excellent. I thought it was really, really excellent. Again, I like some episodes more than others, but overall, I thought they killed it. I would have liked a better finale that gave a sense of purpose for the season other than just to set up season 2. But listen, it's art. It hits us all in different ways, and it didn't hit you as well as it hit me. And that's perfectly fair. But I thought they did a fantastic job. I really do.
My only issue with this season is I just like with Muse, it just felt very right. It was like he was in the shadows, and then all of a sudden it was like part of 2 episodes and done. And I thought it was going to build up to more throughout.
Well, no, he was just a piece of the puzzle of the season.
I thought he was going to weave through it all.
To be fair, in the grand scope for how long Daredevil's been in the comics, Muse in the comics is just a blip on the radar.
Yeah.
Like Muse was there and gone pretty quick. So, I mean, yeah, I thought they would use more Muse, but again, I thought they did a great job.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Brian says, got clarification from Alex Garland on Dredd. He was the showrunner like on a TV series. The producers wanted to experiment with this approach. It didn't work, but he said Pete Travis still absolutely deserves his credit as director for what he added.
I have no idea what we're talking about.
Yeah.
I guess do
you have any idea what we're talking about? Was there a TV show called Dredd?
It sounds like it's a follow-up to something maybe we previously talked about.
Or maybe he's talking about the Dredd movie, and no, I don't know.
But you don't have a showrunner on a movie.
That's why he's saying they were experimenting, but I don't know.
Anyway, so I'm sorry, guys. Do me a favor, guys. When you write in, double check, reread what you're writing from the perspective of somebody who is not you, because again, you read that. And I'm not really sure what it is we're talking about, unfortunately. All right, what's next?
We got 2-parter from Entertain Nerd. Hello, John and crew. So hear me out, and this could be huge. What if in Fantastic Four we don't have Robert Downey Jr. start as Victor Von Doom, but by Doomsday, the Fantastic Four travel to the 616 and current time. We have a Ultron scenario, and the Doctor Doom dies. They recover the consciousness of Doom and transfer into Tony's body. Similar to the university story. This feels very well, I'll finish it, but it feels very I don't know. Similar to the
very
fanfic.
Yeah.
Storyline where the body swap, but now it's in modern times. This happens at the start of Doomsday in the credit scenes.
Yeah, number one, I don't think Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in Fantastic Four. I just don't think he's going to be in it. Now, of course, it's possible he could be. I'm not going to be shocked if he's there, Although that's a lot of money to pay for a cameo.
Yeah.
Because they're paying Robert Downey Jr. a lot of money. So I don't think he's I don't even think he's in Fantastic Four at all. I think they're really going to focus on the Fantastic Four in that one. I don't think we're going to have Victor there. How they bring him in, I don't think they're going to do a consciousness swap or stuff like that. I don't
Kind of
think
felt
they're
like
going to do
daytime
it.
soaps is what I was thinking of.
Yeah, you're right. That does sound a little. And what do they call the Mexican soap operas? There's a specific
novella.
novella. That's right, telenovela. You're right. That does sound a little telenovela.
Yeah.
So starting right with the fact that I don't even think Robert Downey Jr. is going to be in Fantastic Four. Again, I'm not. That's not a story. I don't know. I could be totally wrong. I'm just guessing. But even if he was, I don't see them doing that sort of a thing. But it's very creative thinking. It's absolutely creative thinking. I just don't think that sounds like a storyline that would fit in the MCU. Now watch, it's exactly what they do. We'll find out. All right, what's next?
They just follow up. I believe the comic book storyline was called Iron Man, Demon, and Armor in reference to what I was saying.
Okay.
Tron says, did you hear Mythic Quest was canceled?
Yes.
Yeah.
What?
Another Apple TV gem. While I'm sad, I'm not too surprised because almost no one talks about it. And I barely saw any promotion for it. At least Michelini still has his It's Always Sunny and Wrexham.
Mythic Quest was this little show. They never gave it much promotion.
I've been enjoying it. I've just
I
recently started
really
it.
enjoyed the
I've
show.
been watching reruns. Like,
But I will say this. I kind of fell off it this last season. Once they moved away kind of from the core
Yeah.
of it's a company, it's kind of The Office in a way. It's an evolved The Office where it's this video game company and these people there. But once they started the process of, okay, now these guys aren't here, they're over here, and this girl's now doing this over here, and once they started spreading it all out, I don't know, it started losing me a little bit. But again, the first few seasons, I loved Mythic Quest. So I was kind of sad to hear that it got canceled, but honestly, I think it had its run.
yeah, and I think when shows are like one of the big parts of a show is like maybe the industry or like their job or their career. I think you could run out of ideas. If a show is like about the people, the characters,
Yeah.
like Cheers and stuff like that, you could just
go on forever.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
go on forever.
All right, what's next?
I Am Justice says, I am not going to spoil the finale, but I'm so sick of everyone asking for Spider-Man to show up in Daredevil. I get it. Spidey's a New York City hero. But have comic fans been living under a rock or forgot that Sony holds the cards on the crossovers?
Yeah, and also remember a little while ago we did the thing where the head of Marvel Television and Streaming, Winderbaum, is that his name?
Yeah, Brad Winderbaum.
Specifically said they're not allowed to use live action Spider-Man on Disney Plus. They specifically came out and said we're not allowed to use live action Spider-Man on Disney Plus. It's outside of the scope of their licensing arrangement with Sony. So that was apparently never going to happen. And even if they wouldn't devalue Spider-Man by dumping him on a Disney Plus show, right? You don't devalue your prize characters by doing that. Warner Brothers made a massive mistake back in the day when they had the Arrowverse going on and the DCEU. Right. They made a massive mistake, I think, by putting Superman on television and by trying to put Batman. You literally devalue your characters that way. And I don't think they would have done it even if they could. But as it turned out, they couldn't have done it anyway because they didn't have the rights to do it.
And Kingpin is the opposite, right? He can only show in TV series, but can't be in.
That's what Vincent D'Onofrio recently said. Vincent D'Onofrio said, don't expect to see my Kingpin in movies because apparently they can't use my character in movies. So it's
so
the opposite
strange.
problem.
It's
a
strange.
very complicated arrangement that they have, but it is that now listen, arrangements can be changed when they mutually agree upon it, but that's kind of the situation they're in right now.
But I also keep forgetting that Kingpin was under the Fox 20th Century,
Yes.
right? And Spider-Man Sony. So
Yeah.
of course they're gonna have different deals.
All right, what's next?
Anonymous says, okay, hear me out. Calvin and Hobbes and Shaw. Or would it be Calvin and Hobbes x Hobbes and Shaw? Crossover of the century.
Listen, I'll tell you what. With all seriousness,
It's just
Calvin and Hobbes is the greatest comic strip of all time. It is the very, very rare mixture of absolute hilarity emotionally moving, and it's something that just resonates. Calvin and Hobbes is like the most beautiful thing ever. And I still remember reading the final strip that Bill Watterson ever put out. And it was just simply, I can't remember all the dialogue in it, but it ends with Calvin and Hobbes are at the top of a hill with a toboggan with a fresh snowfall on the ground. And they hop in the toboggan and go racing down the hill. And it ends with Calvin saying, "Let's go exploring." And I would love if they could find a way to capture the magic of the comic strip. I would love for them to be able to come up with a way to do some kind of screen, whether it's animated or whatever. I would love for them to come up with a way, but I just don't know if it's even remotely possible to capture the magic of the comic strip. One of my favorite possessions, actually, is I have this big brown leather case with 3 giant volumes, volume 1, 2, and 3. That is all the Calvin and Hobbes. Anne got it for me, I think like 15 years ago. It was one of the very first presents she ever got me. And it's like one of my most prized things. I love it. And it's just the most special thing ever. I wish they would do something with it someday. All right. What's next?
Let's see. 123 Impulse says last night's episode was amazing. I'm so excited for season 2 of Born Again War is coming. I hope the Defenders are coming.
Yeah, that's been a question about whether he's going to put together. I'll be honest with you. There's a scene at the end where he's like walks into a room, and I was kind of expecting to maybe see Luke Cage standing there, and maybe Jessica Jones, or maybe Iron Fist, or something like that. It never happened. So it'll be curious to see if they actually do. Now, they're shooting season 2 already. They're shooting it now. And as of right now, what's the name of the girl who plays Jessica Jones again? Ritter?
Yeah,
Kristen Ritter. Her most recent interview is saying, listen, I'm up for it. I want to do it. I'll be in there. But as of right now, my phone hasn't rang. So maybe she'll be in it. Maybe she won't. Again, I thought there was some really, really great stuff in the finale. It's just that it left me a little frustrated again, feeling like the only purpose for season 1 was just to set up season 2. But anyway, I still enjoyed the season very much. I thought it was great. All right, what's next?
Dan V says in the Daredevil finale, well, hang on, let me read through this a little better to make sure there's no whatever stuff.
That sounded like it was going to get into spoiler territory.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, Preston Walden says above below 60% that the rest of the names for Doomsday will be announced at Comic-Con.
Yeah, I'll go over 60%. By the way, the question before that looked like it might be okay too. Over 60% that the rest of it, because we're not that far from Comic-Con. And Kevin Feige always likes making a big splash at Comic-Con, and there's no D23 this year. So yeah, I think instead of doing another stupid chair watch, I think doing that at Comic-Con, that makes a lot of sense. I'll say over 60%.
Okay, yeah, and this next one, the Matt Murdock's glasses, is fine. So, hi, John and crew. Have you guys ever seen the 94 Corman produced Fantastic Four?
Yes.
Yeah, or the documentary about it called Doomed. Even though it was an awful movie, it was my favorite version of Dr. Doom.
I have not seen that documentary. Look that up, Ray? Yeah. Doom, is that available on YouTube? Doomed is the documentary of the. I'll be straight up with you. I've never even heard of it. If that's a real thing, I would love to watch that. That would be amazing to see.
I'm not seeing.
And yes,
I'll get back to you on that. Hold on.
The Corman Fantastic Four was, let's just say, that was special. Let's just say that it was special.
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Is it? All right, I'm gonna have to watch that. I didn't even know. I love it when people write in and tell me something I never even knew about. I had no idea that thing existed. I'm definitely gonna check that out.
Oh my God, the pictures of.
Oh, you've never seen?
I've never even knew this existed.
They did that to hold.
You never knew the movie existed?
Roger Corman. Yeah, I'm just.
Yeah, the original.
Yeah, they did that to hold the rights to Fantastic Four.
Is that the thing, or is that Toxic Avenger?
Yeah.
I never remember. It was made a long time ago.
Well, also on a very small budget. It was for a purpose.
They didn't have CGI back then. All right, what's next?
Okay. There can be only one. Says, can someone explain what I'm missing with this Lilo and Stitch remake? Everything shown so far has been the repackaged original with less color or worse acting. I genuinely do not get the hype.
Oh.
I don't know about worse acting because you're comparing a cartoon.
No,
and-
it looks so adorable, so endearing, so wonderful. Everything was going to depend on who you cast. Well, the two key things are clearly, do you manifest Stitch right? Like, do you CGI him right? And they clearly did. And then you got to knock it out of the park with the little girl you get to play Lilo. And man, they crushed it. She is, I just want to eat her up with a spoon, man. She's just so adorable, so precious. This just looks fantastic and amazing. And hey, listen, if it's not hitting you that way, that's fair. But it's definitely hitting me. And I think most of the people in the world, it's hitting us. It's just as beautiful, endearing, charming, wonderful. I cannot wait. I think this movie's going to make a lot of money, man.
We got that one this year too, right?
Yeah, that comes in
Okay.
just a couple of months.
So we're gonna get like 2 live action remakes at least, right? With How to Train Your Dragon.
Oh, yeah. And How to Train Your Dragon is great.
It'll be interesting to see how both those do.
Yeah. All right. What's next?
The Ungrouped Poop got my tickets for Sinners. All I've heard were great things so far. I can't wait. Looks like the best vampire movie since 30 Days a Night, which is my favorite vampire movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, 30 Days a Night is a very special movie to me because it's the first movie me and Ann ever watched together.
Nah.
What's wrong with that? We watched the movie together.
I'm just playing the brothers right now. I'm playing a.
But Sinners, man, everything I'm hearing is not just that it's good. Because like, again, with Rotten Tomatoes, you can have a movie that's a 90%, but that doesn't mean it's a 9 out of 10 movie. That just means 90% of the critics liked it. And all of them could just think, yeah, it's pretty good. And therefore, and if 90% of them say, yeah, it's pretty good, then it gets a 90%. Sinners doesn't just have a 99%. It's like the people who are reviewing it are losing their minds about it. They're all saying it's incredible. So, and it's Ryan Coogler. So yeah, Ann and I got our tickets for tomorrow afternoon. Can't wait to go see it. All right, what's next?
The Black Man Beyond, 2-parter. I thought last week's episode of Daredevil was the weakest when I watched it, but I was also in a watch party that was negative in the chat, so I think it swayed my opinion. After watching your spoiler talk, I rewatched it before the finale and saw it in a completely different light, and I liked it a lot more. Still had a couple of tiny things that bugged me, but overall was a better viewing experience. No more watching parties for me, only after show spoiler talks. Thanks for opening my mind up.
Well, I mean, look, it doesn't happen a lot for me, but it happens that I have one impression of a show or a movie when I see it, and then a different one when I see it again. Again, for me, it doesn't happen often, but like for me, like the Star Wars prequels, or one of the biggest examples for me is Quentin Tarantino's Inglourious Bastards, because I hated that movie the first time I saw it. Hated it. And then like a year later, a date I was on, a girl wanted to watch that movie. So we rented it, and I'm like, okay, whatever. If you want to watch it, we'll watch it. And we watched it, and I'm like, what? Was I in a bad mood the day I saw this? This movie's great. And I loved it the second time I saw it. Again, it doesn't happen often. But yeah, the viewing of a movie or a show can be influenced. Your enjoyment of it can absolutely be influenced by the crowd you watch it with. So maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know, but I'm glad you enjoyed it. All right, what's next?
Imogen says, "Hi guys, David's Corn Sweat said in an interview during CinemaCon that Superman and Crypto is a foster situation, and that he is taking care of this dog. To me, and the way he said it, sounds like Crypto isn't his. I think Crypto came to Earth with Kara."
Yeah, super good.
That's possible.
She comes and picks him up at the end.
Listen, maybe. Listen, I'll tell you. I'm going to be honest with you. I have never loved the idea of them having Crypto in the movie at all. I think Crypto is cheesy.
In the comics, I don't really know the Crypto lore. Does he actually come from Krypton? Like, how does he superpowered?
I think they said he came with anyway.
They got knives on
I've
that
never
planet?
liked the idea. When I found out that James Gunn was going to put Crypto in the movie, I was, but then I saw the trailer. And I'm like, yeah, that works. And then they showed us the extended thing at CinemaCon. I'm like, yeah, that really works. I'm telling you this right now. Crypto is going to be one of the things that, especially the younger audience, is going to come out of that theater buzzing about. I think a lot of people are going to love Crypto. And I admit I was pretty negative on it when they first brought him up. But the notion that maybe he's actually Kara's, That's interesting. I mean, that's very feasible too. That's absolutely feasible. So we'll see what they do with it.
All right.
All right, what's
This is
next?
our last of the tips. If Forbidden says if Doom is not in first steps, then what will their relationship be like in Doomsday Secret Wars?
Who cares? Who cares? I mean, I'll let the story. I mean, clearly, they know what the relationship is. They know what the story they're going to tell is. But I really don't know how they're going to do it. But I don't know how they're going to do it for most movies when I go in clean. So I'm not really concerned about that. That's not the important thing to me. Like, how good or not good Avengers Doomsday is not going to depend on what is the nature of the relationship between this Victor Von Doom and this particular set of the Fantastic Four. Again, I'm sure they have an idea for it. I don't know what it is, but I don't think for me, it's not really one of the pivotal things. It's not one of the pivotal points. Now, it would be if, say, Victor Von Doom was going to be the main villain of Fantastic Four 2. Like, let's forget Avengers Doomsday was coming. All right, let's pretend like that we were just getting this new Marvel Fantastic Four movie, and let's not even think about Doomsday or Secret Wars for a minute. Well, then my answer changes, because then, well, wait a minute, if you're doing a Fantastic Four franchise, Doom is vitally important, and the relationship with the Fantastic Four are vitally important. But if they've made the decision, nobody thinks it's a bad idea to launch your first movie without the main villain. A lot of people prefer it when you don't launch with the main. You like to save the main villain until maybe the second film or the third film. But with the way they've structured this, where we've got Fantastic Four and then we're getting Doomsday and Doctor Doom is going to be the big baddie of the Avengers, well, then you change the nature of that a little bit, right? And it becomes less important. So I'm cool with it, and we'll just kind of wait and see how they decide to approach it. And with that down, guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show podcast. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here and choosing to make our show a little part of your day. Big special thank you to all you guys who sent in the questions. Number one, because you gave us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it, and all of us involved with the show. Thank you guys so very much for your support. So big thank you to Chris Carr and Robert Meyer Burnett. Thanks to Ray Ora.
See you guys tomorrow.
Jonathan Voico.
See you guys.
My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.